is we are now entering something that the people who are less than, I would say, 25 years old, they don't realize that the world they live in, I didn't grow up there. I grew up in a world where there was no cell phones. When you were out of your house, your parents gave you an hour. After that, you have to be back at home. Me, it was 7 p.m. My mom, if I was not home by 7 p.m., she would take my keys. And I would be private. I would be, you can do this or you can do that. This generation is a generation that was born. I mean, listen, when they were 10 years old, 10 years ago, there were already iPhones and social media and smartphones and TikToks and Instagrams and possibility to make anything go viral, any story. And I've been saying, because I've seen it become a reality, it has started to create new forms of diseases, new forms of attention deficit. When I was a kid, listen, if you wanted attention from your parents, maybe the people at school, and maybe when you would go to the club. When I got in my teens, maybe that nice girl in the club, or maybe the cool guys in the club, but that's it. And a lot of strangers had opinions about me, especially when I got famous. But it's not that I didn't care. It's just that these opinions didn't arrive to me. Then social media started existing. We had forums back in the days. We had rap forums. But when social media, MySpace, started arriving and people could put comments and say whatever they feel, that's when these problems started. And then user-generated content made new types of famous people. Because back in the days, to be famous, you had to have created something, did something specific. Be a president, be a rock star, be a rap star, be a famous poet, be a something. You needed to have a certain talent at something, or have done something amazing or evil that everybody knew about. And those were the people who were famous. But then people started becoming famous just from being in reality shows. And then everybody could create their own reality show with Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc., etc. And then there was the rise of the micro star. Back in the days, they would call that. People who were just famous on social media. Back when social media was small, I remember they were saying the rise of the micro star. People who are famous on the internet, they have 50,000 followers, and that was crazy at the time. Or on MySpace, oh my God, he has like 100,000 followers on MySpace. He's famous and he has power over this thing. That's when the influencer started. And then with Instagram becoming so popular, everybody could post stuff. And then TikTok arrived, and then this generation that was born on social media, and that is a generation of weak people, that are sensitive about everything, and that they want to victimize themselves on anything, started becoming like the new adults. And with that, they really came with an attention deficit that we never had. Because when you wanted some attention, you had to come out your house and go somewhere to get it. Go dance in the street on Trocadero in Paris, go in the party, take the microphone, rap. So that's how we would get attention. So when we were at home, we were not feeling that, oh, I have to impress somebody, because we were at home and there was no possibility to impress people. So it was just, your parents or whoever was at home. But then this became the window to outside, and you didn't need to come out to get attention from strangers online. And now you could just post something and have millions of people say something. And then you have a whole generation that don't know what it is to not have a phone like I do. And this generation, they wake up, the first thing they do before they pee, they check their phones. They check the notifications. And they check if whatever they post have comments. And if there's no likes and no comments, they feel bad, as if something wrong happened. And this is because they need the attention of a bunch of strangers who are not in your street, not in your country. They are somewhere online. And the same people that you want their attention, them too want the attention of other people. Or some people, they will put comments, the most crazy comments, just so that people reply. And because for them, it's a form of attention as well. Oh, somebody put 100 likes on my comments. My comment created a conversation. Boom, dopamine. And this has created monsters like Jussie Smollett, Meghan Markle, Amber Heard, and so on and so on. A bunch of people that used to just want to be able to exist, but now they don't want to exist and be left alone. They want to exist, but they want your attention. They want to be on the forefront. They want to change stuff. They just want to be on the news every day. And it leads us to people like this woman. I mean, listen, I don't know yet I'm not sure if she lied. I mean, it feels like, or if people don't know yet. But today, the fastest way to be famous all around the world is to play the victim. But it can backfire quickly, and you can be the center of attention of the whole wild world when maybe you just wanted somebody in Alabama to know about you. But then the whole world goes because of TikTok, Instagram, and all these things. I remember when I started seeing posts. And the problem is, do you have real victims who have to not be believed because of all the grifters? And that's why this idea doesn't come from a bad place. It comes from a place of a positive place. Protect all women. Believe all women. Believe all victims. This comes from a good sentiment. But it's not realistic. It comes from people who are in the illusion that the world is not full of people who will use and misuse and abuse the things that everybody puts in the goodwill. Because the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And the people with good intentions, sometimes they want to force things. They want to force a movement, but they don't want to think. Like, and then, yeah, you have all these people who are looking for attention. And you have a lot of people who clearly have mental health problems. And they are given like worldwide platforms. And then when the whole world realizes that you lied, it is horrible for all of us. Carlee Russell, a missing black woman and a social media frenzy, explained. What the viral story of a missing Alabama woman says about all of us. From the beginning, the details of Carlee Russell's disappearance seemed destined to cause an internet frenzy. Russell, a black 25-year-old nursing student, went missing from the side of a highway in Hoover, Alabama on the night of July 13, shortly after calling 911 to report a child wandering alone on the side of the highway. I just thought of a Dave Chappelle joke. Russell's brother's girlfriend, Russell's brother's girlfriend on the phone with her following her 911 call reported hearing Carlee scream and what sounded like the phone being dropped. When the police reached Carlee's car just a few minutes later, a 911 call, they found her phone and wig nearby, along with her purse and the food she just picked up for dinner inside of her car. Neither Russell nor the toddler was anywhere to be found. Russell's disappearance went viral on TikTok and other social media platforms, and in the days following received national media attention, international even, as law enforcement agencies searched for her. The chilling details surrounding her disappearance and the prospect that a child was used to lure her into danger likely contributed to it going viral. Fears about human trafficking and abduction have become a bigger part of the national conversation in recent years. Then 49 hours after she went missing, Russell showed up at the doorsteps of her family home. Everyone who'd been following the case had a lot of questions. So apparently did the police. In a news conference on July 29th, Hoover Police Chief Nick Derzis revealed that detectives had been unable to verify many of the things that Russell had told investigators in the brief interview she gave them following her return. According to Derzis, Russell said that after calling 911, a man emerged from the trees near the highway to say he was checking on the child. She then said the man forced her into a car, and next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. Said Derzis. Russell said that the man who kidnapped her had an orange hair and bald spot, and that she heard the voice of a woman who was with him but never saw her face. At one point, she said she managed to escape from the trailer but was recaptured and taken to a house where she was forced to undress and be photographed after being put in another vehicle. Russell said she escaped again and was able to make it to her home by running through the woods. Naked? Anyway. At one point, There's shared some other details that seem to cast doubt on Russell's story. Video footage showed Russell leaving the spa she worked at the day of her disappearance, reportedly concealing a bathrobe, toilet paper, and other items. Those items, as well as the snack she purchased from Target shortly before her disappearance, were missing despite her purse and other belongings being left with the vehicle. Durgis also noted that Russell drove 600 yards while on the phone with 911, saying she was watching the child, and police said they received 600 yards. That's a lot. And police said they received no other reports of a toddler walking alone. Video footage on the highway appears to show only one figure, Russell, on the side of the road. They think that a toddler barefoot could be 3 or 4 years old and could travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway without crying is very hard for me to understand, said the chief of police. Then there were the internet searches on Russell's mobile phone in the days before her arrest. She was searching for information about one-way bus ticket and how to take money from a cash register without being caught. She also looked into whether someone had to pay for an Amber Alert. And she also searched for the movie Taken, my dad's favorite movie, in which Liam Neeson plays a dad who hunts down human traffickers who kidnap his teenage daughter and her best friend. I do think it's highly unusual on the day someone gets kidnapped that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find it very strange. Well, damn, that's a long article. Why the Carlee Russell story took off and what the social media response about it says. He didn't come right out and say it, but the subtext seemed clear. Police have doubts about her story. And just as quickly as social media users rushed to share concern for Russell's and the details about her disappearance, so did they rush to offer their opinions on the latest development. Some criticized her for perpetrating what appeared to be a hoax, Jussie Smollett style, and argued that her story would make it harder for people to believe families when other black women go missing. But what about the rest of them? Anyway, others condemned the rush to judgment, noting that Russell could have mental health issues that the public isn't aware, and pointing out that missing black women rarely receive the same amount of media attention white women do in the US. A few said they were just happy Russell was home, regardless of what happened. Blah, 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 blah. The public concern about Russell's case was driven in part by the understanding that black women rarely receive the same amount of attention that white women get when they go missing. It was also driven by the frightening details and then the moral panic about the idea of blah, blah, blah. The outside fear is driven by internet conspiracies and misinformation, social media, politician, and pop culture. But the reality is that people most at risk of human trafficking are those who are already vulnerable because they live at the margins of society. Sometimes as children in the foster care system or undocumented immigrants, or as people struggling with addiction or homelessness. They are often forgotten because the authorities don't always identify them as victims. In this case, it seems clear that while our culture is obsessed with salacious sounding crimes, we're also, whatever the truth of this case turns out to be, deeply fascinated by the idea of scam artists. There are unfortunately countless real stories of black women and children like Relisha Rudd, an 8-year-old who went missing in DC and is still hasn't been found. As the Black and Missing Foundation stated this week, we must remain vigilant and not lose sight of the bigger picture while we await additional information. For years, the foundation has been sounding the alarm on the plight of missing Black and brown people from around the country, and their story rarely go viral. Let's keep hope alive for these families and channel our effort to bringing them home. The public and the media will likely move on from Russell's story soon. Yep. Finding Rudd and other missing children and adults remains just as urgent as it was before social media discovered the Russell case, and will remain just as important once it moves on. And apparently now the boyfriend is begging the public to stop bullying the girl. Well, he asked the public to think about Carlee Russell's mental health. I know what it seems like what she did. Just stop bullying on social media. Think about her mental health. She doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves to be cyberbullied. I do agree. What do you think? Listen, I said everything I had to say before reading the story. To me, attention is a hell of a drug. Yes, I do agree with you, Frankie. And like I said, we are now in a society where everybody wants attention, and people will do everything to stay the focus on everything. They need people to talk about them, and they're ready to do anything for this to happen. Listen, I never craved attention. Before becoming famous, I was actually very shy, and I grew up in the limelight. I grew up from famous parents to me then becoming famous. So I had to adapt to that. But listen, when I get out of my house and I go to the shopping center or to the movies or to the groceries, I'm not waiting for somebody to recognize me to feel happy. When somebody recognizes me, I'm like, thank you so much. Thanks. People tell me thank you for the music. I'm like, a pleasure. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for enjoying the music. But there can be a whole week passing and nobody recognize me. And then there's days like this week, for example, the whole week, everybody recognized me on the street. Everybody. People like, Kaysha. I'm like, all good. I know that people love me and I'm blessed about that. But the weeks that nobody recognized me and I'm just there chilling, I don't care. It's not something that I don't do this for that. I do this for other things. I do this to make a living. I do this because I love it. I do this. It's not for the attention. But you have a whole generation that are obsessed with attention. They're obsessed with it. And I believe, to me, when I think about Meghan Markle or Amber Heard, listen, most of us, we knew that they're both liars. We know that they just made a lot of things up just to use victimization as a weapon. But the real problem is that you have some people who don't care about common sense. She went on Oprah, everybody just went crazy. All media went crazy, everybody went crazy. And I remember like back then I was like, I don't know. Sounds like another Jussie Smollett to me. Sounds like another person who's using the struggle of the real victims just for her own gain, to be famous and to be talked about and etc. Listen, a lot of things I remember. Listen, the videos are there on YouTube. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about all these claims. And 4 years or 3 years after, 2 years after, when themselves, Prince Harry comes and say, oh no, we never talked about racism. I was like, yo. And then all the people who went crazy and been defending them, they don't want to say something. Same thing for Jussie Smollett. All the people who went crazy for him, they didn't come and say, yeah, well, listen, we are sorry for this guy, or for supporting all his claim and going crazy and saying all these things, when in reality we got fooled as well. And this to me is always a problem. You have some people, listen, if somebody's missing, I actually saw the post of that girl that was missing, that one. And I think I reposted it because I always repost that, which is why these people can just use the kindness of the heart of everybody and just misuse and abuse it. The problem is, once you realize that these people, there's something fishy, all the people who were just rooting for them or all these people, they don't come forward and say, we are disappointed. No, they don't want to say something because they're like, no, it's going to hurt our brand. And then they just look at everything Disney did to Johnny Depp. Look how somebody that everybody loved, his name got thrown in the mud. He got insulted. He got treated as an abuser. And then he lost all his jobs. Disney just put him away. They put Amber Heard in all the magazine. She became the poster child of all the feminists. She became like the mascot of feminism and etc. She was speaking at events, etc. All this for in the end to realize that all this was a lie. She invented everything. What did Disney do after that? Nothing. They didn't say we were wrong. They didn't say we're sorry. All the media, they never come and say we're sorry to the people who are wrongly accused. They just move on to the next story. And that to me, and they're trying to find, but you have to understand, no. Accountability is important. If people don't realize that you want to be in society, you also have to learn accountability. And it's not the same subject, but I believe that right now in the US, one of the reasons why people are starting to be tired of the whole trans narrative and women in the bathroom, women in sport is not because people hate them or are transphobic. I really believe it's because they too are abusing the victim narrative and are abusing the wanting to be in the forefront. Back in the days of my trans friends, my LGBT friends, they just wanted to be left alone. They just wanted to live in peace and not feel threatened by people. And we were protecting them. Listen, we're talking about 20, 25 years ago. We were telling people, hey, anybody touch that person have problems with us. And these people were just saying, listen, I just want to chill, listen to the music like everybody, dress how I want to dress, and etc., etc. And that was it. But now people want the attention. They want more than they always want more. So it's not the same subject, but it comes in the same umbrella of we want the attention, we want to be talked about, we want to be victimized all the time. We want to use the victimization to push forward something. And this is hurting the majority of people who just want to be left alone. This is hurting the majority of the victims. It seems that people are just and when Jussie Smollett did his thing, he hurt not only all his co-stars in Empire, he also hurt a whole movement of people who want to be left alone. And all the people who cried for him, all the people who were like, oh my God, I can't believe in America this is possible. Like, all these people were like, why? And this girl, yeah, it's the same thing. We'll see where the story goes. But I'm telling you, the real problem that social media has created, and we all have to be careful with how we're going to raise our kids, is the attention deficit. Everybody is obsessed with the opinions of other people so much they are willing to do everything because they see the example of other people who use and abuse the system and the kindness of the heart of all the people who are just sensitive about everything and repost, and they become rich, just like Amber Heard had millions because of her fake victimization. It gives ideas to a lot of people. Look at the case. I didn't talk about it on Club Shada because I want to see until the end where it goes. But look at the story of Jonathan Majors. Rising stars, it's over. Career, it's over. Because an ex-girlfriend said that XYZ, and then she was clubbing, she was chilling. But at the same time, she was saying she was a victim. And listen, we don't know yet, but as the details emerge, you start asking yourself, oh, did we bury him way too early? And it becomes a world that is dangerous to navigate. Because listen, I had a few crazy exes. And I imagine if back when I was super famous, let's take 2003, On Dit Quoi is the biggest song in Africa. If we had social media like today, okay, I would have made way more money from YouTube, from the views, etc. on one part. But on another side, any psycho like the one who keeps sending messages to my YouTube could just invent something about me. And listen, I knew a girl that told me something about a family member. And listen, I had an ex, that one, who told me she got shot by somebody, and it was not true. She told me her ex shot her, when in reality, she shot herself. Now imagine the same people with the social media of today, all the crazy thing they could do. All these for what? Attention. And what is missing? What is missing, Urban Sweet Spot? You are completely right. It's common sense. All of us, we don't use common sense. We are just emotionally drawn to these stories. We see something, we just go crazy. I don't know if we remember a few years ago, there was this YouTube guy who invented a fake thing in an airplane. I remember watching it on YouTube, and people were like on the plane, and he like, I don't remember what was the thing, but I remember commenting on Twitter and saying, yeah, we are with you, brother, da 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 da. And then 2 days after, we realized that all this was something he invented just for attention and having followers. And then I was like, damn. I went to find my comment and remove my comment. But I was like, you know what? When stories occur, before saying something, posting something, reposting something, I'm gonna wait a little bit just to see, just to make sure. But the problem is now people are starting to use stuff like missing people. They're starting to use things that there's a certain urgency when somebody gets missing, when somebody goes missing. There's this urgency that we have to find her quick before something happens to her. So everybody goes crazy and everybody reposts, and then you see it everywhere with social media. But then when you realize it's not true, everybody gets angry, and not everybody's hating these people, and not everybody's saying, yeah, but think about her mental health. Yo, it's complicated. It's compliqué. But what are we gonna do? It is what it is.